Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Mikey Garcia says he feels he will beat Vasiliy Lomachenko. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chat channel donations, Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We are working now. New media is on the case, and this is what I've been telling you. And like I said, it just feels good with new media. I told y'all since January, tell the truth. Tell the truth. And when you hear fighters say it, you hear it from the horse's mouth, they're corroborating the same thing. Mikey Garcia, he did a press conference for his fight. He's moving up to 140 again to fight Sergey Lipinets, a champion. And he's a champion at 135, but he's still being flexible with his weight. You got to give him credit for that. Now, I seen on Fight Hype, they had an interview with Mikey Garcia, kind of doing a roundtable, and they're asking about Lomachenko. Mikey Garcia says, and I quote, "I want to see Lomachenko take bigger challenges. He's fighting smaller men. I'm moving up in weight to fight bigger men because I want the challenge. If Lomachenko is ready to move up to 135, we can do it. I know Bob Arum wouldn't say anything positive about it. I don't know if he's interested in facing me. The way I know Top Rank works, they'll have someone else in line for him to win the title at 135 or maybe at 140. But most likely he's not going to want to face me because Bob Arum won't allow it. I don't think he will. Bob Arum has been doing business for so long, the way he runs his business, and it's not in his best interest to face me, a guy like me, with his fighters, whether it's a financial reason or taking a loss or whatever. I don't think he's going to be very excited to do business with me. Maybe down the road we can have the fight, right?" And they asked him, "How do you think you would do?" He says, "I think I beat Vasiliy Lomachenko. I think my skill, my ability, my strength, and my size definitely helps me. I want to see Lomachenko fight guys at least in his own division, fighters like Gervonta Davis and Miguel Berchelt, guys that are in the same size and very talented." Basically saying guys that are not smaller present a real challenge and he'll get more credit. He needs to be fighting bigger men, or at least men his own size in his weight class, for him to be able to get the credit. Again, link in the description. And this is exactly what I have been telling you guys. In addition, when Bob Arum hypes the situation up and says, this person will beat this person and he's the best since Muhammad Ali, if you do all of that, then people are going to want to see it. So I feel like the walls are closing in terms of Lomachenko. He's very talented, very good fighter. Walls are closing in on his opponent selection. We get it. In a short period of time, in 11 fights, his resume is better than other people. But it's also that way because he had over 400 amateur fights and 2 Olympic gold medals. And he's older. He started his pro game in 2013. He's 29 years old right now. Canelo's only like 27 years old and has a better resume. So each fighter has their own independent journey to get to that end of the rainbow, that pot of gold. And Lomachenko had his, and it works for him. He only has 1 loss. And I agree with Mikey Garcia. I've been agreeing. I've said this before, Mikey Garcia. If you want to, let's say all the people like, if you say any level of criticism, I'm telling you, old media is making it worse for Lomachenko because they're putting him on a pedestal, which is cool. He's a good fighter. But then they start saying stuff and comparing him to Muhammad Ali. I shook up the world. And then they're comparing him if he could beat or give Floyd Mayweather in his pretty boy Floyd days at 130. If he can get him hell, then yes, people are going to want to see, like Mikey Garcia is saying, at least fight the very best people in your division. Guys with some kind of, Gervonta Davis has sure shot power at 130. You could say, oh, but Davis doesn't want to fight him. Okay, go to Miguel Berchelt. He's a Mexican. He's beat Francisco Vargas. He also had that fight on the card with Joe Smith Jr. and Sullivan Barrera. He's probably at least Lomachenko's height. You know what I'm saying? So fight those guys. Okay, say he doesn't want to fight you. Maybe try Machado, who's like the newest champion at 130. Okay, you can't unify, then maybe you have to take a risk like Mikey Garcia is doing. Mikey Garcia is a champion title holder at 135. Fact. He knocked out Dejan Zlaticanin. I was there. Fact. And he became a lightweight 135er champion, right? Next fight, instead of defending against anybody, just a top 10 guy at lightweight or unifying or whatever, he moves up and fights Broner, who's fought as high as 147, right? And never been knocked out. And then he goes and dominates Broner. Now, instead of going back to his division where he's a champion, he's going up to fight another champion. You can say, oh, Sergey Lipinets, his last performance wasn't the greatest, but nonetheless, he's still a bigger guy with a 77% knockout ratio, a guy who is campaigning at 140. And like Mikey is saying, I'm taking the risk by going back up to that weight class. And again, if it's that easy for fighters to have dual championships in multiple weight classes simultaneously, then let's see Lomachenko do it, or whoever, especially since he's being compared to Muhammad Ali and Floyd. So you can't get Gervonta, you can't get Miguel Berchelt. Move up and fight Mikey Garcia at 35 simultaneously and become a champion. Fight Robert Easter, Jorge Linares. These are all great fights. And he says he believes he will beat Lomachenko. Some people think he's too slow, and some people think he's too strong. We want to see stuff like this, especially with all of that surrounding how good Lomachenko is. And you can say whatever you want, but I'm telling you, time and time again, new media, if Lomachenko were to fight a guy like Mikey Garcia, let's say all goes well with Sergey Lipinets, then there's no excuse anyone would be able to make if Lomachenko wins fair and square, period. He's fighting a guy a little bit taller, a guy with the power advantage, a guy who remained undefeated, a guy who's methodical. There's nothing you can say. But like if you listen to people, not just myself, but the Rigondeaux fight, Floyd Mayweather said it. He's like, Rigondeaux or Lomachenko, no one really took major punishment, but I never fought no one in my career like that small. He said, I didn't really notice it until they got in the ring together. Rigondeaux looked a lot smaller than Lomachenko, right? We know Miguel Berchelt was a 126er coming off a loss, and that's who Top Rank brought up to 130 to fight Lomachenko. So again, I agree with Mikey Garcia 1000%. If Lomachenko wants to really define his legacy, those are the fights. We know he's too good for like a C+ fighter, guys like Jason Sosa who don't have an amateur pedigree. If you don't have anything or the style to fight like Salido and things like that, if you don't have those things, then of course Lomachenko is going to easily beat you. But there are some guys that at the very least, even if they were to lose, I don't know if they would quit. At the very end, I don't know if they would lose every round. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Lomachenko, if he fought Tank Davis, he would have to be on his P's and Q's not to get hit with big shots like he got hit with versus Miguel Berchelt. So that's all people are saying with Lomachenko. Instead of like, what is the rush? He's 11 fights in with 1 loss. If he's going to be the greatest thing ever, then let's see him earn it. Let's see him keep doing what he's doing, make everybody quit, move up 5 to 8 divisions like the people he's being compared to, the Pacquiaos or Roy Jones or Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Do those feats, and then boom, you're in the history books. So I agree with Mikey Garcia. And once again, if Lomachenko were to fight Mikey Garcia, I think that's a good fight. And I know for a fact not everybody would be riding with Lomachenko. You know what I mean? And like you look at Lomachenko's best wins, Gary Russell Jr. Who had he really fought in those first 24 fights? Now, we know Gary Russell's a good fighter after the fact because he became a champion after, but at the time he fought Lomachenko was more experienced and he did his thing. You know what I mean? But Russell didn't really have any signature wins, Russell Jr. And then Nicholas Walters, he got starved out of major fights, was coming off a draw, gained a lot of weight, and he was arguing, and the fight fell apart over money. Then he ended up taking less money. That has to show you later in the year, why would a guy who was arguing that $550,000 wasn't enough money, why would he later take $300,000 in November? Because he was starved out of fights, and Top Rank knew what they were doing. They have all their eggs in the Lomachenko basket. He's a talented fighter, so Nicholas Walters was more expendable. So they starved him out, and then they came back to him like, hey, you want to make this money? You got to fight Lomachenko, and now you got to do it for less money. So he ended up taking it, and it showed in his performance. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason he lost to Lomachenko, because I did a 7 reasons picking Lomachenko to beat him. But however, that was a piss poor effort from Nicholas Walters, and it looked like it showed. Like he just pretty much all but quit. It didn't look like he was getting his ass. He got hurt by Donaire and didn't quit. You know what I mean? Donaire rocked him at the end of one round. I forgot, it was one of them early rounds. Donaire rocked him hard and he didn't quit. But all of a sudden he quits against Nicholas Walt, or when he fights Lomachenko. So people just want to see how great Lomachenko could be with the modern age of fighters. And I have my theories, but we ultimately got to see. We ultimately got to see. You know what I mean? And that's how it is. I mean, you look at the Rigondeaux, he moved up 2 weight classes at age 37. These are facts. You could say they're excuses or whatever. Everyone else sees it. Brandon Rios said it. Mikey Garcia said it. When I say it, I'm racist. Mikey Garcia is saying the same thing. You know what I mean? So it's no coinky dink that professional fighters are saying the same thing as me. You know what I mean? And again, I'm going to keep saying Lomachenko's good. But if he really wants to live up to the expectations set forth by the ESPNs of the world, HBOs of the world, the Bob Arums of the world, then he has to do kind of what Mikey Garcia is saying. He called out Mikey Garcia. Why shouldn't we fight this fight? And I told you, Top Rank, they're extremely good with the matchmaking. So there's little things in it. Oh man, you see how he did Miguel Mariaga, but when you look deeper, you're like, oh, he was coming off a loss in April. He lost to Oscar Valdez and got knocked down in April at 126. And now Lomachenko, who's phenomenally talented, who beat Oscar Valdez in the amateurs, is fighting him at a higher division at 130, right? Again, if you fight Mikey Garcia with the type of power, momentum, and size and skill that he has, then no one can say that. No one, oh, Mikey's coming off a loss. Mikey don't have no power. There's no real excuse that you can make for Lomachenko if he were to dominate and make Mikey Garcia quit. And he called him out. So me, 2018, my motto is simple. Let's see it. But I agree with Mikey Garcia. Let me know who would win, Vasiliy Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia. Don't just tell me a name. Tell me how they would win. Drop that in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.